Are you noticing stress affecting how you're relating to yourself and your partner or partners at this time? That's really normal. Stress has a deep impact on how we relate. When we're stressed out, we tend to go into our more fight or flight part of our brain, our more primitive part of our brain, which is not where our rational decision making lies. So, at a time when there's lots of stress in the air, you're going to notice some of your reactivity being heightened and more involuntary, like you don't have control over it, like you might under a more normal time. So, whatever your default reaction to stress may be, whether you tend to speed up like I do and try to do more and try to get more done and pack your time and worry about what you're missing, that might be one response. You might be like my partner who has another response. He slows down and gets more careful and deliberate under stress. So you can imagine when we're stressed out, I speed up, he slows down. It's a situation that's ripe for conflict. So the first thing to notice when you get stressed is, what is your typical default stress reaction? Do you speed up? Do you slow down? Do you withdraw and not want to engage? Do you freeze and just get paralyzed and not know what to do? Do you attack? Do you start getting critical and attack? All of these are normal responses to stress. So it's good to get to know yours intimately and be aware of it. Step number 2, when you are stressed out, anything your partner does that is not necessarily to your liking, like on a normal day, wouldn't bother you at all, is gonna bother you, right? So maybe your partner has a habit of chewing loudly. And normally that's not a thing. But when you're stressed out, you're going to hear them chewing and it's like, nails on the chalkboard, like, stop chewing, right? So again, in those situations, rather than blindsiding your partner with a reaction or, the first step is to notice, oh, wow, this thing that usually doesn't bug me bugs me. And instead of making that mean something's wrong with your partner, the fact that you are getting irritated becomes your cue to check out your own stress level. Every day in relationship, we have the opportunity to either go out there and blame and attack and try to control and try to avoid triggers by forcing our people in our lives to be a certain way, or we can use whatever it is they're doing, whether it feels good or doesn't feel good. And if it doesn't feel good, you might need to adjust it. You might need to ask for something else. But until you know which situation you're in, if they do something that starts irritating you, that never irritated you before, likely that's a cue that something is happening in here that you haven't allowed yourself to feel yet. So the people in our lives can be a beautiful alarm bell or cue or flag for us to notice, oh, I'm getting bugged out by this thing. What's happening with me? What am I feeling? Sometime the other day, for example, I was complaining to Patrick about something, and that wasn't about him, but I was just like, why is this happening? And he said, you know, I think you're sad. Could it be that this thing is bothering you because you're sad and you're not letting yourself feel it? And I was like, oh my God, you're right. And so then I could put my attention on the thing that was actually happening, which was that I was sad, and then give myself the space to grieve instead of staying stuck in this whirlwind of emotional projection on some other situation that wasn't even really true, because I was just not feeling my grief. So in this way, our relationships can be a catalyst. They can be, as I call it, a training ground for our genius. And genius, as I'm using it here, it means connection to ourselves and the ability to show up authentically as who we are in our most loving, skillful, unique, magical way with another human being. That's what relationships are. They're a training ground for our genius. However, our genius becomes very difficult to access under stress. Stress hijacks our genius for survival. We get moved into the survival part of our brain, which has us look around for danger and what we can kill to stay safe, right? That's basically what our safety brain or our danger brain does. So instead of allowing that part to totally take over, I'm suggesting you can notice it, pause, give yourself a little room, and then choose a new response. Here's tip number 3. If you find yourself totally activated in your relationship and you're stressed out, so you're stuck in your danger brain, which means I have to kill or be killed, which is not the best place to have a great conversation from, take a time out. Timeouts are really underutilized by adults. We give children timeouts all the time, but we don't take enough timeouts. And what this looks like in real time is, oh, wow, I'm having trouble staying clear in this conversation right now. I'm going to take myself out for a few minutes and calm down, and then I'll be back to talk about this further, right? So rather than trying to work things out from the apex of the stressful place, which is going to make it really, really, really hard to work it out, you take yourself out of the situation, calm down by doing whatever it is that works for you, whether you need to take a bath or dance it out to a song or journal about it or meditate or check in with your heart. Like, what am I really feeling? Why am I so upset? Check in with yourself. Get some clarity, down regulate your nervous system so that you have the other parts of your brain back online and you're not just in the kill or be killed part of your brain. And then come back to the conversation. Tip 4 is start from the premise that you're on the same team. So very often, again, when we're stressed out, we forget we're on the same team. We go into overdrive and think we're alone and that we have to do it all ourselves. And that's just not true. When you're in a relationship, that's your team member. You two are on the same team. And if you're in a relationship with someone with whom you don't feel that, you might want to look at the relationship. So if you are in a relationship where you are on the same team most of the time, but then you get into these spats when you're stressed out and you forget, again, you can work it out in advance. Patrick and I have an agreement that when we start having an argument or a fight, one of us will remember in the middle that we're on the same team, usually the person who's not as activated yet. And one of us will go, whoa, 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 same team. If we were looking at the situation from the perspective of same team, like together, side by side, looking at the situation, what would we do? How would it look when we turn away from looking at each other and trying to win, but turn together and look at the situation together from same team? How does it look? And what might we see differently as a result of doing that? What creativity could we access together in relation to this issue? Same team. I'm Marie Elizabeth Mali, your relationship artist, and I help creative, powerful, brilliant business owners who love their work experience more love and joy and fulfillment in their relationships too. So this has been how stress impacts and affects our relationships and what to do about it. Stick around, watch more videos, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.